While the turbulent waters of the GFC and the 2008-09 financial year saw a number of companies fall by the wayside, over at ASX-listed Morningstar Gold, Chairman Nick Garling was buoyant about the company's long-term prospects and a continued strong price of gold at their recent AGM.
The reason we're in business is that we want to develop a low-cost, high-grade gold production business. We certainly know there's some high grade in the field. We certainly know the Morningstar mine produced over 30 tonnes of gold at nearly an ounce to the tonne. It's a very high grade mine and it's a very high grade field. Other targets of ours, again, you'll hear this repetition of this high grade story. And that's the reason we're in the business there. It's a difficult terrain, but it's a high grade terrain. And it's only been explored to quite shallow, really, in the scheme of things, when you consider, some of the mines that are operating around the world at depth. Really, there's a lot of, most of the targets that we're looking at haven't been explored beyond about 50 to 100 metres depth. Our main steps for growth there are to, first of all, establish the cash flow. So what we did last year, which many of you would have taken part in, is that we raised around about $12 million through a rights issue of options. Most of that $12 million that we raised has been spent on infrastructure, enabling us to grow quickly to establish the cash flow that we need. Getting that cash flow with the mill that we've built and with the ore pile we've already got on the surface, but also the high-grade ore zones that we've explored underground at the moment in the Morningstar mine, is going to be very, very important. The second part of the strategy there is obviously with our friends here from Shandong. We did a joint venture in the region earlier in the year because we felt it was really important to fast-track what we had in the region. We knew we had a lot of infrastructure. We've spent probably $40 million at the Morningstar mine over the years. We knew we had a lot of infrastructure in place at the Morningstar mine, but a lot of our eggs were in the one basket. So we decided to expand the tenements that we had to about 200 odd square kilometres. And in that group of tenements, we realised that there was a lot of targets that would probably never get explored unless we had an injection of cash and a joint venture. Part of that joint venture is de-risking from the Morningstar mine hub and de-risking from just having the one ore source. That's what that's all about. Point 4 there is that we can develop the Morningstar gold mine down at greater depth. The Morningstar mine is only down at the 10 level, which is 310 metres under the ground. Gold was actually mined to 940 metres depth if you include the top of the hill, the head frame being somewhere down the hill. So there's a lot of redevelopment that could potentially take place in other parts of the mine, particularly as we're sitting right on top of an area that hasn't been explored hardly at all. And the great opportunity to grow our ounces produced through upscaling our mill throughput is point 5. The mill is currently limited, not by the crushing side of the plant, but by the gravity side of the plant, by the gold extraction side of the plant. To increase the gold extraction side of the plant is relatively inexpensive, maybe $1 million, $1.5 million. Obviously, depending on the delineation of resources underground and also in the field, we have the opportunity to expand that mill. We also have the opportunity to potentially have multiple mills, certainly 2 or 3 other mills in the field, depending on what happens with resources. So that's our overall vision. Get the cash flow going, get, with Shandong's help, stick some drill holes and some development of some of the adits around our key target areas from a geological perspective. There's very high grade gold in the quartz and also especially in the quartz areas that are between the contact with the sediments and the dike. Our approach is to look at the structures, see if they're mineralised and mine them. Now I think we're building a really good company here and there's a really good feel about it. There's a good bunch of people involved. I love hearing from shareholders. I'm a shareholder myself. That's the only reason I'm sitting here, trying to protect my own interest and my mates' interests. So keep the comments coming and keep the interface coming, and we'll say goodbye for today.